Welcome friends, I'm Arthur Wood, and as you know I make videos about college football, about Georgia football and the SEC. It's pretty much what any Georgia fan thinks about. I mean, if you're a Georgia fan, you think about college football and the SEC, and you sort of think of that as kind of like a universe in itself. And if you talk about anything in that universe, you might be interested. But I was kind of going through some of these little self-help things about how to make a YouTube channel, and it had me ask, who is my typical viewer? I just called him Joe Football. Then it asked me, what does Joe Football watch a video for? He wants to know about his football team. Joe Football wants to know about his football team. Then it asked a very simple question of, what does he want in a video? He wants his team to win. What does Joe Football not like? He doesn't like losing. A college football fan wants his team to win. He clicks on shows to find out information to verify his opinions because he wants to win. But I understand that a fan wants to win. But wanting to win doesn't mean everything that someone tells you has to be unicorns and rainbows. Because sometimes an organization doesn't want to win. That's a fact. You could talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Do you really think they want to win in football? Well, if they did, after 50 years, they probably would have figured something out. The Falcons don't want to win bad enough to do what it takes to win. They'd much rather do what they do and hope they kind of win. So college football programs can be the same way. How can a school like Florida say they want to win? Clearly know how. They've done it in the past, but they go 20 years and don't really win. Something isn't right. Something isn't right. That school doesn't want to win. That sounds silly to say someone doesn't want to win. Well, take it a different way. Do you want to be a billionaire? Do you really want to be a billionaire? Well, you'd like to have $1 billion, I'm sure. But if someone were to measure your actions from, say, the past year, he would probably say, well, it doesn't look like you want to be a billionaire, because you haven't done any of the things that being a billionaire is going to take. So when you say you want to win, it's a little more than a simple, oh, I want to win. Of course, everybody wants to win. But when you start to look at your own program, and let's go back to the Falcons, because that's kind of a neutral. Most Georgia fans, they kind of pull for the Falcons, but we also know they're never going to do anything. They're like a joke. And sometimes a college football program can get the same way. And you have to look at your organization of your team. You have to be brutally honest when you ask, is my school, does it want to win? And ask that question as a Georgia fan. Can you honestly say that the things that this Georgia program has been doing since 2023, do they really want to win? You have to really ask yourself that, and you brutally answer it. No, they don't want to win. Not bad enough to do what it takes. We don't have to go any further than look at Georgia's offense. If Georgia wanted to win, they would have kept the offense they had when they were winning. They would have tried everything possible to maintain that offense that Todd Monken had. Oh, well, Todd Monken left. Well, yeah, that's just one thing. That Todd Monken left, there's another one like him. But you went and got a guy that's nothing like Todd Monken, and the offense has gone downhill, downhill, downhill. You can point to anything you want to counter that, but it's not accurate. The offense has gone downhill. So, tolerating an offense that goes downhill isn't an indication that you're serious about winning. Now, that accusation has been levied against Georgia many times over the years, going back to the Mark Richt years. Deshaun Watson accused Georgia of not being serious about winning. Of course, that might have been because they wanted him to be tight end instead of quarterback. So he went to Clemson and won. Because Georgia wasn't serious about winning, he deduced that by saying, well, if you think my talent should be at tight end, you're an idiot and you're not serious about winning. So that charge has been levied against Georgia many times over the years, that we're not serious about winning. We're talking about winning championships. Yeah, they like to win games, but we've got that built in. I mean, the worst Georgia team you could come up with is going to win 6 games. They're built in. They have 6 wins cooked in. I mean, you really can't lose 5 games unless you just let everything fall apart, and then anything can happen. But as a viewer, why do you watch a sport video, especially if it's targeted for Georgia? What are you looking to find out? I've been trying to tell people what I see and trying to get people to maybe get a little upset. To get a little upset when something isn't checking out. I think Georgia fans, they've fallen into the trap that they pat themselves on the shoulders and look at what they've done. They keep pointing to, oh, well, we won this, we won that. Yeah, but you're going downhill. And it's going to take one of those kind of years to wake everybody up. But by then, it's too late. Doesn't matter if you wake up and the barn's already burned down. You're going to wake up before it burnt down. You're going to wake up in time to get the horses out. So waking up is good, but waking up before it all falls apart is better. This season is going to point out to the Georgia fans in graphic nature just how badly this organization no longer wants to win. Yeah, they want your donations, but they have gotten very comfortable doing things that they want to do that don't really contribute to winning. And I don't know what we can do about it. So type in the comments what you want to find out when you look at a sport video. Just tell me what you click on a video about Georgia. What do you want to find out? Are you trying to find out some guy's name or some roster information? You want inside information? Well, see, that's part of what you might be wanting, because true information at a place like Georgia is guarded. You're not going to find anything out. Kirby Smart's not telling you anything. He didn't have to. And I've never seen outside of North Korea a more controlled access to information than right here at Georgia. They like to paint you a picture of unicorns and rainbows, and a lot of Georgia fans think it's their obligation to go along. And I think a lot of that's just my perception, because the Georgia fans that I talk to personally every day, when I see them, they're not happy. They're not happy with a lot of things. And they're at the point where they just kind of throw their hands up because they know it's not really going to change. Well, what Georgia fans need to do is to try to find a way to get the energy we had when we won the title in 21 and 22. There was some energy there that has never been at Georgia before. And we let that get away from us, and to the point that it looked like we threw it away, like we didn't want it. Georgia has willingly become a third-rate outfit that has to struggle. They play down to their opponent. It's always been a Georgia problem. They play down to their opposition instead of playing all out, beating people up, making an impression, and being, the kind of team they could be. And a lot of that's just the way football is, I guess. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to talk about that. Like, I try to find information that's going to give me an idea of where this football team's going to be. And I do a lot of research in the sense of just trying to find out what's going on around the conference, or what other schools are doing, and what we're doing, and why we do some of the things we do. But you're not going to find out the nitty-gritty, because there's nothing more secretive than a college football program like Georgia when it comes to data. All they're going to throw out is the little one-liners and this and that, and then tell you anything. I mean, it's been abundantly clear this team needs an offensive reinvention. And they don't have to go any further than what they did in 21-22. The kind of offense they had then, they've had the personnel for the last 3 years to continue that, but we don't run it. And the fans, a lot of fans, try to justify that. Oh, Kirby knows best. Well, will he know best when he goes 6-5? Because, I mean, I said 3 years ago that we're headed the direction of Clemson. And we are, and we have been. And then Clemson this past year went out and went, 7-5? Maybe it's 2 years in a row. Shocked the world. And now, that's what you expect out of Clemson. You don't expect anything at all from them. That whole thing is gone. It doesn't matter what they did in the past. None of that matters, because it's perfectly clear that in an immediate future, Clemson is an average football team in a pretty bad conference. They're irrelevant. Unless you're a Clemson fan, there's no reason to care. Georgia has willingly and happily and excitedly jaunted down that same path. That they're jaunting down it. They're jaunting down it right now, thinking that they're going to always be good, not even noticing that the recruiting is slipping badly. Oklahoma's got the #1 recruiting class, and we're like 32nd. I don't know. Pretty bad. 7th in the SEC. 16th recruited better. The biggest thing is we're not putting those big guys in the trenches in these upcoming classes, and that's kind of been what made the difference with Kirby Smart. Say what you will, is that we had size, speed in the trenches for the last decade. Mark Richt could never put the trenches together correctly. He had some bodies, but overall the trenches were soft. They didn't play hard, and in many cases, not even big enough. So Georgia football is a unique school in that it probably has the resources to always compete in college football at the highest level it desires. But it has a very strange habit of just underachieving, and then we expect you to brag about what they did do. So what does Georgia have to do this year, in your opinion as a fan? What do they have to do to still be relevant in your eyes as serious about winning? How many wins do they have to have? Do they have to win the SEC? Do they have to make the playoff? Or do they have to win a playoff game? Well, any kind of serious discussion on that would say Georgia probably needs to make the playoff, and they need to win a game to be considered getting some progress in their organization. And if they don't achieve that this year, I think they might begin to fall off the map in the talent acquisition, because we apparently don't want to spend money anywhere in the portal. And the kind of team you're going to get when you just recruit 30th in the country and don't hit the portal and don't really stress offense, and you don't really have really good coaches getting these guys better, you're going to be an average football team, an average program. And that's not how you sustain $1 billion operation. So if you're a Georgia fan, my words to you are, you should be getting upset if this team doesn't perform this year. This year, they got no excuse. They got plenty of ability and talent to win. Now, I don't know if that's going to continue. There's a very good chance that after this year, they won't be able to say they have a stacked team. And then we might get to the point where we have to say, well, how many winnable games do we have this year? How many winnable games do we have this year? That's how it gets. That's how it gets. We went from being unbeatable to no losable games. Any, like a 21-22 loss would have been a shock. Maybe in the playoffs, maybe not. We would have gotten over the Ohio State loss, but it would have been a tough one. But we won. But when you've been to the top and you see that you're top of the world, you should try to want to stay there. But we have gotten to the point now where in 22, 0 losable games on the schedule, even though we almost maybe did lose one to Missouri, but it wasn't a losable game. That would have been a bad effort on our part to have lost that game. Now, a bad effort, a bad day, I mean, that's what upsets are made about. We say losable game is meaning like the team has a chance. And 21 or 22, nobody did. And now, last year, probably half the teams on the schedule had a chance. And quite frankly, 3 or 4 of them probably should have won. Now we go to this year, and I say 10 have a chance on the schedule to beat us. And that means we got 10 losable games, but we still have 12 winnable games. So the thing to look for is when the talking heads that you trust and adore start telling you that Georgia has only got 8 winnable games. That's when you know that you've fallen into irrelevance. Go ask Dabo Swinney how many winnable games they have this year. It is not going to be a double-digit answer, I can tell you that.